Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
1-2. Swing and a miss. How about that for a first inning? Driven out into right center field. On the run is Taylor. Turning, looking. See ya! A 2-run home run for Higashioka. Driven to right field. Is it fair? It's fair and it's gone.
Today is Saturday, April 15th, 2023, and it's Game 3 of a 4-game series between the Twins and the Yankees. After 2 very tough losses in a row, the Yankees turned to Domingo Germán to try and right the ship. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Hey guys, before we go any further, I got to take a second to thank tonight's sponsor, Game Time. I'll tell you what, trying to get tickets at the last second has always been a nightmare. Someone says, hey, we should go catch the game tonight, or hey, my favorite band is playing in town next weekend. But thankfully, there's a great app for last-minute ticket deals. Game Time has the deals right up until the day of the event. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. Download the Game Time app and use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. That's NYY Recaps, no spaces, for $20 off on the Game Time app. Lowest price on last-minute tickets, guaranteed. More smiles today. Back in the win column, everybody. So they say that momentum is only as strong as your next day's starting pitcher. And the Yankees had some serious bad momentum over the last couple of days. They get blown out in the first game of the series. Last night, an absolutely heartbreaking, crushing, soul-devouring loss on a night that should have been special with Volpe hitting his first home run. But Domingo Germán stepped up today and put a stop to all that bad momentum. Fantastic job by Domingo. Riley Moore says, Germán sure delivered the goods. Welcome back, everybody. Today was Jackie Robinson Day. That's why if you're watching the highlights and you missed the game, all the players were wearing number 42. It's a really interesting and I think cool tradition that baseball has. Wouldn't be surprised if they eventually do the similar thing for Roberto Clemente, number 21. Tonight's a good time, if you haven't seen it, or if it's on your list, your recycle list maybe, to watch that 42 movie with Chadwick Boseman. I'm going to be watching that tonight. Love that movie. So I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't sleep much last night. I was tossing and turning. You know, not just the 2 bad losses in a row, but I just didn't feel great about today. Domingo Germán was awful his last time out, and he was just a wild card headed into this game. You know he's got good stuff, but last time out, his stuff was just not good. He had no strikeouts, he had a ton of walks, and he just looked bad. His body language was bad. Everything seemed off. You wondered maybe if he was hurt. But today, his stuff has frankly never been better, in my opinion. Career high in strikeouts, and he worked into the 7th inning to help save the bullpen a little bit. And with Garrett Cole going tomorrow, you got a chance to even up the series, and a chance to rest the bullpen even further if he can put together another strong outing. So yeah, Domingo got off to a great start. He struck out the first 4 hitters of the game, had some nasty off-speed stuff. The changeup especially was terrific early on. He threw the curveball a lot more as the game went on. His curveball's always great, and today it was really great. It just kept getting better and better as he got deeper into the game. Some guys, their fastball gets better and better as they get deeper into the game. Justin Verlander is an example of that. Probably Nolan Ryan would be an example of that. But Domingo's one of those guys where once he gets that breaking ball going, it can get sharper and get more dominant as the game goes along. We had DJ back in the lineup today at the top of the lineup. He'd missed a few games with quad soreness, so that was good to see him back. He picked up an RBI single today. It also answers the question that we had yesterday, should Volpe go back to the number 9 spot? He's back down there today, but he had a pretty good day as well. And, you know, we'll talk about why, but, you know, I don't think it's a terrible spot for him at the bottom of the order if he learns how to hit in that position. Yanks broke through in the bottom of the second. Franchy Cordero reached on an error by the pitcher, and then Kyle Higashioka.
There it goes! That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Second home run of the season, Apo Taco. Apo Taco. And what do you know? A home run with a runner on base. There was a very interesting stat posted by the commenter Powerhouse on last night's podcast. Coming into this game, the Yankees had scored 5 runs in the series, and they were all solo home runs. That's interesting. And that's hard to do, quite frankly. And then bottom 3, wouldn't you know it? Another solo home run.
Don't you ever come back here again.
Rizzo's 4th home run of the season. It was a second-row porch job, but we'll take it. I made it 3-0. Interesting development in the 4th inning. Herman was throwing a perfect game. I mean, he got off to a great start today. And, he was looking unhittable. On his way back onto the field, the umpire kind of pulled him aside and said, hey, we need you to wash your hands. I don't know what they found. I don't know what they were saying other than you need to wash your hands. Twins manager Rocco Baldelli got irate because they let him stay in the game, and he got tossed.
Get off my bridge.
Not sure exactly what's going on, but we'll hear about it from the managers in the postgame, I'm sure. As always, if someone has information or if someone is watching the postgame simultaneously, pass it along, and we'll put it on the screen. Anyway, Domingo pitched a 4th perfect inning, even with the controversy, and then a 5th. Ultimately, he went 5 1/3 perfect innings before he gave up a couple of hits. Bottom 5, Volpe walked and then stole second base easily, and then scored on a base hit by DJ LeMahieu. And I think that's exactly how they envision the scenario of putting Volpe in the number 9 hole. You figure if he gets on, he can steal second, and then you got your best contact hitter up with, Aaron Judge on deck. You're not going to pitch around DJ to get to Aaron Judge, a guy who had 60-plus home runs. You're going to pitch to DJ, and he's been swinging the bat well, and a base hit allows that speed of Volpe to create a run. Herman was done after 6 1/3 innings. Final line, 3 hits, no walks, 1 run, 11 strikeouts. I thought he did a phenomenal job. The run that scored was actually an inherited run off of Michael King, who was, not very sharp when he first came into the game. The slider was just kind of rolling in there, and that's been a great pitch for him in the last couple of years. He did kind of put it together. He did get a 4-6-3 double play to get out of the 7th inning. And again, great throw by Anthony Volpe on the back end.
Double kill.
He's got an arm. Don't let his size fool you. The kid has an arm, and he's got a quick release, and he's good around the bag. He's just a good shortstop. Bottom 7, Giancarlo Stanton smoked one to left field. Everybody in the ballpark and probably everybody watching at home thought it was gone. And Stanton kind of loafed out of the box a little bit, had to turn up the heat a little bit to get to second base there. But, Michael Kay was saying, oh, it's gone, but it was off the wall. I have no idea how it stayed in the ballpark. The only thing I could think of was that maybe that was one of those non-juiced balls. You know how last year there was 2 different baseballs? Wouldn't shock me if that's the case again. There's multiple baseballs out there. That pitch looked like it was annihilated. Maybe he got it off the end of the bat a little bit. But it's interesting, a guy who's hit over 300 home runs, typically he knows when he gets one. And typically when Giancarlo hits them, they stay hit, as they say. So I was just shocked that it stayed in the ballpark. As Ken Singleton would say, a few more Cheerios this morning and it was gone. Volpe picked up another hit in the 9th inning, and, he walked a couple of times. He stole 3 bags. He stole 2 bases in the 9th. Seems like, he's getting more comfortable, and the floodgates are about to open for him. So stay tuned. Yankees hang on to win, and they've given themselves a shot to even up the series tomorrow behind Garrett Cole.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
Before we get to the belt, we got a shout out here. Charlie Moore. I used to have a baseball coach named Charlie Moore. We called him Chuck. Still see him from time to time. He says, please shout out my 12-year-old son who lives in Switzerland, all the way over in Switzerland, and loves the merch and is part of the next generation of Yankees fans. I got to say, it's important to keep those generations of Yankees fans churning. They say don't indoctrinate your kids, but it's okay to indoctrinate them with Yankee fandom. Belt winner today, no mystery at all, Mr. Domingo Germán.
Belt winner.
He set the tone. He came out right away in the first inning and struck out the side and showed that he had his good stuff. He put all questions about, his previous performance and his health and all that stuff to bed. What a job by Domingo Germán. And, every time he does well, you get this chorus of people on social media that say, oh, he's still a bad human being and I hate what he did, but I love it when he pitches well. And, I just wanted to comment on that real quick because I do think it's something that needs to be addressed. I wrote something on Twitter that I'd like to read for a moment. And it's essentially this. It's possible to hold Germán accountable for his past behavior, but also acknowledge the possibility that he's shown some personal growth and that he can redeem himself. There's sort of a duality in, appreciation and condemnation of this guy that it kind of, it shows the nuances of our moral landscape, right? And how we navigate through that says a lot about us as much as it says about Domingo. Personally, I'm rooting for the man every time he puts on the uniform, and I hope that he's made the corrections in his personal life. And I'm going to continue to root for him to do well with the Yankees and also to do well in life. So I just wanted to comment on that. Joe Elvis says, we only hit solo home runs, Derek. Well, not true today. Today, the Yankees did hit a 2-run home run. Kyle Higashioka bringing it. Let's see here. And John Daniel Munez was absolutely shocked at this crooked numbers coming from home runs. First belt of the season for Domingo Germán. So let's take a look at the box score today. It's nice to actually have a box score after a win for once. So DJ, as you see, back at the top of the lineup, 1 for 4. Judge, 1 for 2, walked a couple of times. You see he's still got the OPS over 1,000. 1.020, hitting over 300 still. Rizzo, 1 for 4 with a ribby today, hitting 314 on the season. I don't feel like his average ever got that high last year, even when he had that hot April. I believe he hit 9 home runs in April, but, he just never seemed to be getting the hits in the quantities that he's getting them now that the shift has kind of gone away. Stanton, 1 for 4, probably caught some comments from some of the guys about having warning track power. That's what you say when the best home run hitter on your team, or one of the best home run hitters, maybe the strongest guy, whatever, hits one and it hits the fence or goes right to the wall. You shout, "Weight room!" or "warning track power!" And I guarantee they were saying that when it hit the wall. Hicks came in to pinch run today. It's interesting. He's not getting much playing time. I think that's something the Yankees fans are okay with. With Bader headed to rehab games this week, wouldn't shock me if Hicks is in his final several games with the Yankees. They've been taking a look at Calhoun. I like what we're seeing from Calhoun. I do like that, Hicks at least can give you the switch hit ability, but he doesn't have much power anymore. Certainly not a great defender anymore. So at this point, it might be a sunken cost. Torres, 0 for 3. He continues to kind of struggle a little bit after that hot start. He's hitting 283 now, kind of regressing to the mean, as David Cohn would say. Cordero, 1 for 4 today. Cabrera, 0 for 4. I thought he had some good at-bats. He almost hit a home run, went just foul. Just foul. Couple of inches. He's due. Wouldn't shock me if he goes deep tomorrow or at least once on this homestand. Higashioka, good to see him hitting the ball out of the ballpark again. He hit the ball better at the end of last season, finished with, I believe, 10 home runs, but he got off to a really slow start. This year, at least he's brought the power game. Second dinger of the year. Volpe, 1 for 2 with a couple of walks and 3 stolen bases. He's already got 6 stolen bases on the year. And don't be surprised if he steals 50 in the major leagues, just like he did in the minor leagues. All right, let's get to more of your comments. Patrick Spencer says, great to see, and hear, I might add, O'Neal back in the booth. Let's hear it for the Warrior. Aaron says he was dumbfounded when Volpe went for third, and it was electric. I do think it was interesting that he was stealing third up 5 runs with 2 outs in the 9th. That's not typically a baseball move. I mean, you're already in scoring position. You don't gain a lot, especially with his speed, by going to third. I guess you put the wild pitch or pass ball run into play. But essentially, that seemed unnecessary, maybe a little bit like stat padding. But hey, he's a kid. He's full of energy, full of excitement, and I love seeing it. And if you're not going to hold him on, he should take it. Matt says, Twins Twitter is super salty. I guess they're concerned about the Herman thing. Let's see if we got an update here from Luke WS. He says, Boone said that Herman just put rosin on his hands in the clubhouse, and the umps wanted him to wash his hands just in case. Seems fair. Saul Belly says, I think Stanton hit his ball so hard that the top spin broke it down about 10 feet. I could see that. He hits the ball harder than anybody, but the trajectory that it was on, typically when he hits them at that trajectory, they end up in the bleachers. MP still wants Brian Reynolds. We need Reynolds, situation hitting, 5'6" hitter. It's a possibility, but you'd have to give up some of these top young prospects, and they're so close now that I don't think the Yankees want to do it. You do have some guys further down the trough, I think, in the pecking order. Guys like Trey Sweeney, who's a shortstop. Oswald Peraza, obviously blocked by Volpe right now. I don't think they're going to trade Dominguez. I don't think they're going to trade Spencer Jones. I could see him moving somebody like a Roderick Arias. But you don't want to give up too much for somebody who's not going to be on your team long term. And I really do think the kids, especially Dominguez, might even be ready at the end of the season, if not early next season. Dr. Hitskin says, is rosin illegal? It's not. There's usually a rosin bag on the mound, but I guess they don't like you putting it on before you come to the mound because you can mix something with it. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like you don't want the other team to control the baseballs before the game because they can do something to it, or the footballs. Tom Brady comes to mind. It's one of those things where you want everything under the scope of the umpires, and that's probably why. Random Stuff says Michael K needs an eye exam. To be fair, that was a pretty tough call because, there's that glass wall and it kind of looks like it was going over it, right? It can be a tough call. He probably couldn't even tell it was gone until he saw the ricochet. And he's far away. He's not watching it on TV like we are. Frankie says, is Volpe going to pass Ricky Henderson? And Senior Nerd says, Yankees fans wanted Trey Turner, and we already have Trey Turner and Anthony Volpe. I do think they could be similar type of players. I don't think that Volpe has the same kind of power that Trey Turner has. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong about that. He has hit a ball off the wall and out of the park in the last few days. I think he's more of a line drive hitter, and I think if he stays up the middle like we saw today late in the game, I think he'll have a lot more success. I also want to see him use right field a bit. There's a lot of extra base hits out there. There's a lot of home runs out there to right field. I know he can do it. We've seen it in the minor leagues. I think he's still just kind of adjusting to major league pitching. And after you get used to seeing it, then you can start to, do stuff with it. You can start to take more of an approach. Right now, he's just trying to get hits, trying to make hard contact. Once he gets a little bit more comfortable, he can go up there with a specific approach like, I'm going to take this guy to right field. I'm going to look for this pitch and do this with it. I talk about The Last Dance all the time. It's one of my favorite docu-series. And they talk a lot about how much Michael Jordan improved, not only in college, but in his first couple of weeks as a pro. Within his first 2 weeks with the Bulls, he became the best player on the team. It was a matter of gaining confidence, of learning how to be a pro, of practicing with other pros. He's going to take things on just by osmosis with Judge and Rizzo around him, these great professionals, veterans, all-stars. He's going to learn how to approach certain guys. He's going to learn about his own timing. He's going to learn how he likes to train. And you talk a lot about, rhythms before a game. Guys have certain routines. The routine might be a little bit different in the major leagues than it is in the minor leagues. I don't know, but I'm sure that there's more, strings that come along with being a major leaguer. There's more things to sign. There's probably more player meetings and more hoopla before the game. I just want to see what he does after a couple of months and see how much he's improving. We're already seeing the improvements in confidence, in aggressiveness. I like it. Let's hear the John Sterling again.
Anthony Volpe, a spectacular OG.
I still think that sucks. All right, guys.
Game over, man. Game over. I gotta get out of here.
Junior Caroma says, you can tell Herman took this outing personally. His stuff was filthy, and he had command from the jump. Thank you for the dono. Guys, we got Garrett Cole on the mound tomorrow. It's a 1:35 start. I'll probably be live, sometime after 4 p.m. And then we got the designated spitters over on the NYY News TV channel. I think the Yankees are going to get a big start from Garrett Cole tomorrow and at least split this series. Also, we will have another episode of the Yankee Chronicles, a series recap, cinematic series recap, coming either tomorrow night or Monday morning. But it's a good one. At least now we're not going to get swept. I was worried we're going to have 4 straight L's, 4 straight tough losses. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. I'll see you next time.
Hey, everybody. If you've made it this far, we thank you. If you'd like to support NYY Recaps, please like and subscribe or pay a visit to our Shopify store for some great Yankees merch. Yes. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description. But if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, just visit NYYRecaps.shop. If you really want to support NYY Recaps and help keep the show going year after year, join up as a member. It's $5, and members get their names up in lights during each post-game show. We're also on all podcast platforms, Instagram, and Twitch this year. So give us a follow if you use any of those platforms. We're expanding, and we have you to thank for making this such a great community. We'll see you next time.
It is your destiny.
Case closed.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.